Good evening and welcome to another edition of FSU Weather. Today's date is October 10th, 2013. I'm student meteorologist Nikki Preeny.
And I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields. And Nikki, today was this absolutely gorgeous. I was outside, just taking in the fresh air, and I was just thinking, just Mother Nature is really giving us a nice treat, hasn't it, Nikki?
Oh, it's been just beautiful outside, especially when we were walking to class, but an area that's not getting such nice weather is up in the northeast.
Yes, and the northeast right now, they're seeing what's left of the remnants of Karen that's now transitioned into a nor'easter, and that nor'easter has been really just plaguing that region pretty much the most of the work week.
It's actually not very well organized, so a lot of what we'll be seeing is a lot of heavy storms. Nothing too heavy, but possible down shower and stuff like that. Gusty winds and flooding up to 2 feet. But let's go ahead and send things out to look at the overview with Pete.
Hey, thank you very much, Nikki. And I have plentiful sunshine in our area today. If you woke up this morning, that fog burned off quickly. Right around 9 a.m., that sunshine was out, and it stayed out through all of the day. For today and tomorrow, the same thing. Cool in the morning, have those 50s to begin your day, but that afternoon sunshine warms things up, and it begins to be those mid-80s. Wonderful fall conditions around our region. An outdoor weekend ahead, so it's going to continue until at least Sunday. So it's going to be beautiful, beautiful conditions. Around the national picture, there is an area of concern out here in Denver, Colorado. New storm system pushing through the Rockies, giving them some storms and maybe even some snowfall in the higher elevations, and a nor'easter, which we'll definitely get into in our national forecast in the northeast. Around our area, though, we have no rainfall from Tallahassee to Valdosta, Albany, Georgia. Plentiful sunshine for our region. For our evening forecast tonight, 54 degrees, clear overnight, crisp, and we may even hit those low 50s outside of our city. So 51, 52, not out of the question, but how does that feel back at the desk?
Well, Pete, I'm going to tell you how it feels. It's going to feel so nice just to be in these cool temperatures. I'm from the northeast, and seeing those temperatures is really refreshing. And over the past couple of weeks, we're just stuck in these 80s and 90s, so the humidity too. So it will be quite nice once these fall-like conditions are settled in.
Definitely going to be a great fall-like condition, especially for this weekend at least, going into the beginning of next work week a little bit too. But let's go ahead and talk about other news. What is going on over in India?
And in India, they do have, in fact, what they call a cyclone failing. And the Indian Ocean, cyclone means that this is another analogy for a hurricane. Down in there, they refer to hurricanes as cyclones.
Exactly. It's actually expected to develop over the next 24 hours in the Bay of Bengal. So definitely something they want to be keeping an eye on and expecting to intensify extremely, actually.
Yes, to what they call a severe tropical cyclone, and that is equivalent to the Atlantic Basin will be a Category 5 hurricane. And unfortunately for those in the region of East India, the track does take it into northeast India. So
a very populated area. Mass destruction is definitely possible, but we want to make sure and just be prepared to most of India just for what can possibly happen.
Yes, because that region is very densely populated, so hopefully folks there, they heed those warnings. But in the meantime, we're going to send it out to Daniel with your local. Daniel, how are things looking right now?
Thanks a lot, guys. High and dry is the story for today. Today we saw a high of 85 and a low of 57, which is sitting right above our average of 83 and a little bit below our average of 60. And moving on to our current conditions right now, we're seeing 85 degrees, dew point right around 56, low humidity of 37, and winds are pretty calm out of the north. And for our temperatures, right now we are sitting at our high of 85. We have 82 in Quincy, 84 in Bainbridge, 82 in Marietta, and moving on to the other side, we have 81 in Perry, 84 in Valdosta, and 81 in Thomasville. So the temperatures are pretty close all around our area. Looking at the dew point, you can see low dew points because there is such dry conditions right now. It's pushing down the dew point, so we probably will not see any conditions that will cause dew. Right now we're sitting at 56 at Tallahassee and a little bit higher along the coast because there's more moisture in the air there. And then we have 59 in Quincy, 63 in Bainbridge. Moving back over to the other side, we have 55 in Perry, 57 in Valdosta. Now moving on to our satellite, as you can see, not a lot going on right now. The high pressure is sitting right over us, which is pushing all the weather away from us right now. And so we're going to take a look at our big picture. As you can see, the only thing really happening right here is just south of us. There's just a little bit of bad conditions happening there, but for all around the United States right now, pretty clear. And looking at our water vapors, you can see there's dry conditions all along where we are, and the only moisture, as you can see, is just behind me. So the high pressure is sitting right about here, and it will be moving over to our area in the next few days. And like I said, high pressure right there. It will be moving down right over us, which will cause for some lower temperatures in the morning. We're going to be looking at 59 degrees in downtown. However, right outside, maybe around school or in the country, we're going to be seeing temperatures into the mid-50s. So we will keep an eye on that and keep you updated. As the time goes on into Friday night and Saturday morning, it will cause for some more nice conditions, very, very similar to what we have seen over the past few days in our area. And here's for tonight's forecast. We're going to see a low of 54, clear overnight, and crisp as those winds will keep slowing down over time. And for tomorrow, we're going to see about the same conditions we saw today with a cool morning, 86 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and it will be warming up a little bit, even though the temperature difference is going to be about 30 degrees. And for our beach forecast, not really much going on there. Surf is less than a foot. We're not expecting any higher surf over the next few days. UV index is low, and winds are varying over there. Looking at our 70 forecast, as you can see, we're looking at 88 over the next couple days and 60s over the next, for the lows for the next few days. We're going to send it off to Shane with Southeast.
Thanks very much, Daniel. And as it transpires, the story of the local is really the story of the entire Southeast. We're looking at a high of 85 degrees was reached today in the capital city of Tallahassee, comparable to the high of 80 in Atlanta and 80 also in New Orleans. So with that high pressure dominating, we're seeing similar conditions across the region. For instance, it's currently 77 in Atlanta, 85 here in the capital city of Tallahassee, and a little warmer, 85 down there in Key West. Now, broadening our scope a little bit, we're going to see the radar here. Well, what did I tell you? There's high pressure over the region, so it is clear and gorgeous across all of the southeastern states right now. There's a bit of a system off coast that's not going to affect us directly. Here, water vapor indicates, as we've been describing, this dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere is keeping things calm and nice in our respective region. And there's a little bit of moisture we can spot to our northeast as that nor'easter makes its way into the New England region. Now, bringing it back home, we're going to show you the futurecast tonight in temperatures. Here this evening, we're looking at 72 in the capital city. And watch, as this high pressure enters our region, tonight we'll see a low of 59 degrees. So tomorrow morning in the early hours as we head out to class, it could be quite chilly out there. I would recommend bringing a light coat on the odds that you're probably going to want to shed it later, because as Friday moves along and that high pressure system moves off to shore as we reach the weekend, we'll see more of the same. It'll reach the 80s again like it did today, and we'll see a low of 57 degrees on Saturday morning. Giving you some of the specifics now. Tonight, I reiterate, we're going to see a low of 54 in Tallahassee, 57 in Atlanta. So with a high of 86 degrees in Tallahassee tomorrow, and similar conditions throughout the weekend. It is going to be a gorgeous weekend. I highly recommend you take advantage of this wonderful burst of fall-like weather and get out and enjoy the regions around Tallahassee. For instance, you might like to travel to Apalachicola to go on a hike. And now I believe it is high time we go back to Troy and Nikki at the desk.
Thank you so much, Shane. Yeah, it might be kind of fun to go hike around Apalachicola.
But you know what will also be fun, Nikki?
What's that, Troy?
In addition to the Apalachicola, by the way, I love hiking. I would love to go. But they're seeing Northern Lights to play up in the portions of the northern tier of the country.
Actually, something that I definitely want to cross off my bucket list eventually. The Northern Lights display is associated with the meteor shower that did just happen over most of the Midwest.
Yes, and there's also another name for it, and that's called Aurora Borealis.
Borealis, exactly, yes.
Correctly. And tell us more about what that means, Nikki.
Well, what it means is a solar flare pretty much entered the area, not a direct hit this time, but an indirect hit. And when the indirect hit happens, it reacts with the charged protons in the Earth's atmosphere, and from there we can see the lights actually appear.
Yes, and the direction of the solar flare will affect the intensity, by the way. But let's jump right international, because we're going to be talking about what's going on across much of the country because there's very interesting weather going on right now. But we're going to check out your current conditions and very comfortable temperatures along the most of the East Coast. Look at that all around along the I-10 corridor, 79 degrees in New Orleans and 78 degrees in Memphis. But we do have cooler temperatures along the Northeast coast, 60 degrees in Washington, and they're seeing the influence of what's left of Karen, which transitioned into a nor'easter. But you can clearly see that on your satellite imagery, where that's remnants of that Karen is associated with the nor'easter just spinning along the East Coast. And we also have along the west coast of the United States, so that little low pressure system that's giving snow along the high Rockies, and I'll explain more of that in just a moment. But we do have some warnings to tell you about, as I already mentioned, associated with the storm system in the Northwest. We have winter weather advisories in the Rockies, and so for those of you that if you're going skiing, that's good for skiing weather, but just make sure you take it easy if you're out traveling the road. But as already mentioned, with the nor'easter, we do have a close to flood warning along the Delmarva region, actually particularly around the Virginia coast. And so, as I mentioned, the nor'easter has really just been plaguing and just giving folks in the region some very unsettled weather. So just be on the lookout, just take it easy. If you're going out in the beaches, just take it safe. Don't go out on the surface if you have to, because it's still quite dangerous out there. But as we zoom in across the Northwest, there's that storm system I mentioned that is giving folks around Utah and Colorado some very heavy snow. And as we're going to zoom in a little bit, as I mentioned, very all sorts of snow and rain along, especially the higher elevation. So as I mentioned, if you're going and skiing, just be on the lookout for any heavy snowfall. And trucking along across the southeast, and folks, this is where the highlight of the weather is. Very beautiful across the I-10 corridor. Look at that, under the influence of high pressure. So very good weather all en route. So if you have any outdoor activities, just make sure you go out, because I want to do it, and I know you do as well. And there's that nor'easter I already mentioned about, giving folks along the I-95 corridor some heavy rain showers, but that is diminishing in the time being. So by the time the weekend rolls around, our weather should begin to improve. But in the meantime, we're going to look ahead towards your airport delays, and look at that, very good travel around. But just make sure, for those of you in the Northeast, that you take it easy with your air traffic carriers. And as far as forecasts, as we extend out, very mild temperatures will cool off into the night. Friday morning, very cool temperatures, so just make sure you wear a light jacket. But in the meantime, we're going to send it out to Nina for your local.
Thank you very much, Troy. Yeah, today we saw beautiful skies, beautiful temperatures, clear as a bell, a little bit cloudy this morning, a high of 85, beautiful outside, and a little bit crisp this morning, a low of 57, which was fantastic for people like me, maybe a little bit chilly for people who are further down in the south and used to that warm temperature across the board year round. Current conditions in Tallahassee, though, we're sitting at 85 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Going to be crystal clear throughout the rest of the evening, maybe clouding up just a little bit, but there's not too much to worry about, especially with precipitation. No chance of rain at all. Dew point is sitting at 56 degrees, 37% humidity, very dry outside, very beautiful. Going to be a fantastic Friday. Current temperatures smattering of 80s across the board, 84 in Bainbridge, 81 in Thomasville, 85 in Tallahassee. It was a lot warmer today than it was yesterday and the day before, but temperatures are going to be a lot like this throughout the rest of the weekend. It's going to be a glorious time to go out there and possibly have fun on the boat or the beach, or maybe just on Landis Green if you're interested in just chilling and relaxing out there. Current dew point 63 in Bainbridge, 56 in Tallahassee, the dry point across the viewer area. A little bit more muggy, 63 in Carabel, but that's only because they're on the coast and they do have that sea breeze to contend with. Now, we will see satellite and radar across the board, very clear. A little bit of clouds earlier this morning, really early, like around 6 o'clock, but it burned off really quickly with that sun, and fantastic across the tri-state area. However, we will see futurecast. That high is going to be moving down, bringing us cooler, crisper temperatures and a fantastic morning tomorrow. A little bit cooler than we were expecting, possibly low 50s into the outer lying areas of the city, and about 54 in Tallahassee. As that crisp morning moves away, the high is going to drift off to our east, bringing us nice temperatures across the board. Fantastic 80s, maybe even 70s and 50s and low 60s across the rest of the weekend and the week. But We will see tonight's forecast, 54 degrees. Again, could reach low 50s, 51, 52, out by the airport or out by Thomasville and Bainbridge area. Clear overnight, crisp in the morning. You might want to bring a jacket if you have those classes. Tomorrow, fantastic, another beautiful day, 86 degrees. You're going to want to head out there, hang out, maybe study for midterms if you're at that point in your semester. Our 7-day forecast, our building actually, is going to be high and dry, 5 knots. Beautiful day to go out there, but our 7-day forecast, as I step out of the way, going to be fantastic. Highs in the mid to upper 80s as we head into the weekend and into next week. Lows in the mid 60s, mid 50s, and low 60s. But I'm going to send it back to the desk. What's going on?
Thanks a lot, Nina. Well, we got some activity in the Plains region, don't we, today?
Yeah, we do, Daniel. We've got a system coming out of the Rocky Mountains, and throughout today, that's going to bring a high chance of severe weather to the Great Plains. So what kind of conditions are we talking?
Well, we're going to be looking at snowy conditions, a lot colder, and probably this might last a while as it'll push over, moving on east over the next few days.
Right, right. The forecast does call for the system to continue into tomorrow. It does. From the southwestern South Dakota down to the Texas region, so the conventional delineations of Tornado Alley.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so it's definitely moving on right where the tornadoes are. So they've had a lot of severe weather over the summer. Now they're getting it in fall.
Yeah, we can't just rule out severe weather because it's autumn right now. The chances do persist throughout the entire season of autumn. And conditions we see, again, winds and hail tomorrow, this time a little bit further east from the eastern Dakotas into northwest Minnesota, and we can't rule out the chance of a tornado. But now I do believe it is time to send it out to the wall for the Around Florida segment.
Yes, that's right. Look at that view of that beach right there. I wish I was out there instead of doing the weather. But looking at that, we saw we were still looking at 79 degrees at St. George Island, and now we are going to look at our conditions around the state of Florida. Right now, we are looking at 86 in Fort Myers and 85 in Tampa. So it's pretty much uniform throughout in the mid to lower 80s throughout the entire state. And looking at the dew points, you can see a little bit higher dew points down in the south because they do have a little bit more moisture than the North Florida does. And so we will be moving on to current wind conditions. As you can see, since there is more activity in South Florida, we are looking at more and higher wind conditions right now. And so you can see what I was talking about right here. There's a little bit of activity down there. It's not tropical related. It will not be affecting Florida at all. And so we will continue to keep an eye on that. Here's a future cast. Right now you see it's abundant sunshine all throughout the state. And it'll probably stay that way over the next few days. And moving on, it's just, it's clear day all over everywhere. And here's tonight's forecast. We're going to see lows in the high 60s over the next few days. A little bit cooler up north. That's only because you're a little bit farther north. We are going to be looking at 54 in Tallahassee, 56 in Jacksonville, and then you see those temperatures get a lot higher as you get into Central Florida at 67, 65, and even 77 into Key West. And for tomorrow's forecast, as you can see, it's going to be about the same as it was today. And we're looking at 86 in Tallahassee, 87 in Miami, and 87 in Orlando. Now we're going to send it off to Nikki for tropical.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and take a look around the tropics. Thank you so much, Daniel. Let's go ahead and scoot right on ahead to our tropical forecast. Now, not too much to talk about, but let's see exactly where we are in the season. Now, we are past peak of hurricane season. Karen did happen last week. We did see a lot of effects from that. But next up on the list, Lorenzo, and the possibility of him being named is definitely in the picture. We'll go ahead and take a look at that in just 1 second. Let's go ahead and take a look around at the climatology. The climatology models really just explain what has happened over the past 30 years. Now, this is where most of the storms have occurred for October in the bright red. They come off the coast of the Western Caribbean, go ahead and cross on over Florida and move off to the north. Now, this is what the usual track is for October. We have nothing in store for you just yet. Possibility, though, is definitely there with hurricane season not ending till the end of November. Let's go ahead and take a look at the enhanced satellite, though, especially over in the northeast. This area of disturbance is the nor'easter that Troy was talking about. Is not very well organized, and as you can see, the red that does pop up is showing a little bit along the lines of stronger thunderstorms. Now, that will be moving on in throughout the weekend, giving them gustier winds, rains as well, and the possibility of flash flooding up to 2 feet actually is definitely possible for that area. This is affecting New Jersey, the coast of New York as well, most of the northeastern states. So definitely something to be aware of. But what's happening across the Atlantic? Nothing going on across the basin of the Atlantic Ocean, really quite clear. But as we zoom on in, this area of disturbance is definitely something to keep an eye on. This is the possibility of what Lorenzo could become within the next 48 hours. As you can see, the winds are really starting to increase across the area of disturbed weather, but the thunderstorms are actually just not there. If they do continue to increase, the winds that is, the storms could possibly pick up, and that's when we'll finally see Lorenzo moving along down the name of the hurricane list. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the southern Caribbean. Now this area right here is also disturbed weather. It is not named, it's not a disturbance, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. That red that you see that pops on up could be making its way down onto the coast. It's staying off coast for now, but something to keep an eye on. Let's take a look back home though. Tonight's forecast looking great, sitting at 54 degrees, brisk night tonight across the Big Bend, especially in Macon, 50. So they're right on the border from hitting those 40s. So very nice outside for tonight. Tomorrow, warming things back up just a tad bit, but look, sunny across the whole entire Big Bend and most of the southern states. So it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Boating forecast. If you're looking to get out on the water, a light chop, but plentiful sunshine will be tomorrow. So if you are going out there, enjoy the day, make a good time of it. Winds will be up to 2 feet, so perfect weather to be out on the water. We're going to go ahead, though, and send it back to the desk right now with Danielle and Shane.
Thanks very much, Nikki. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment on the FSU Weather Show, This Day in Weather History. Today we turn back the clock about 200 years. And Daniel, what was the event back then?
Well, we had a hurricane that was quite unusual because it did hit the Northeast, but it caused snow. And we all know hurricanes are a tropical system. So how can snow come out of a tropical system?
Well, the cause of that, as it is believed, was how the hurricane moved across a more northerly region. It had a lot cooler temperatures, and this is a very remarkable occurrence. It's not too often we get a snow-a-cane, but now it is time to send it out to the wall for our last local with Allie.
Thanks, guys. Well, we had a great day today. It was a little chilly in the morning, but once that sun came out, it warmed right up to 85 degrees with a low of 57. So we're right about average, slightly higher for our highs, but still, it was a beautiful day today with plenty of sunshine. So like I said, 85 degrees for our temperature, and our humidity is at 37%. So our air is nice and dry, making it just gorgeous outside. We're not feeling that sticky, muggy feeling, so great day to be outside. And here we go again for our current temperatures. Still 85 in Tallahassee, pretty much the same story for the region around the Big Bend. Mid-80s, 81 in Quincy, and just slightly cooler down towards the coast just because of that sea breeze coming up and cooling them down a little bit. And for our dew points, this is a measure of how much moisture is in the air. So these temperatures are actually fairly low. So we love to see that here. That's when we have that dry air. So we love to see these low numbers. We're at 56 in Tallahassee. And of course, it's a little bit different down towards the coast because of that sea breeze. They get a little bit of moist air. So they're at 61 in St. Mark's and 63 down there in Carabel. So they're feeling just a little bit more moist than us. But still, it is a great day to be outside. For the current winds, we can see most of the winds are coming out of the north in our region, so that's because of the high pressure. So the rotation is just bringing the wind down from the north, so that's why our temperatures are actually feeling nice and cool in the morning. So we love to see winds from the north, and we'll move on to our satellite. So because of that high pressure system just sitting above us, we can see not many clouds above our area. So because there's not many clouds, we can have the sunshine come in and just brighten our day and warm us up. Over towards Alabama, they have just a little bit, but still nothing too much to worry about, no rain for them. Water vapor. Okay, so this orangish color over here is the dry air. So because of that high pressure system, we are still seeing the dry air on top of us. And for our future cast, this is the high pressure system I was talking about. So the clockwise rotation is bringing air down from the north, And as that moves down towards us, it's going to have some cool temperatures. So we're going to have nice, crisp morning in store for us. And then we're just going to keep that moving, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend. It will be slightly cooler in the morning, but it will warm right up, and we're going to have a great weekend. So if you're going to get outside, this is the weekend to do it. And we'll keep going on for tonight's forecast. It's going to be a little cool, 54 degrees. And tomorrow is going to be pretty much the same story, nice and sunny, lots of sun, so 86 degrees, about the same as it was today. And if you're going to look for something to do, go outside, maybe head to the beach. It's going to be a great day. Where the surf, less than 1 foot, still a high UV index, so maybe the beach is in your forecast. Here's our 7-day, looks nice and sunny, so this is the weekend. Go outside and have some fun, mid-80s throughout the week. And let's send it back to the desk.
And let's, for our congratulations on your first time on the show in a long while. Very well done.
And we are seeing some high tides in Venice that are causing some heavy flooding in the area, isn't that right?
Yes, Venice is the city of canals in Italy, so they are very susceptible to fluctuations of the tide. And today they're seeing particularly high tides. Yes.
Yeah, that tides are sitting around 3 feet, which is causing the gondola boat drivers to have some trouble out there.
Yes, they are. A bit too much trouble, I'm afraid. But as the water kind of spills over the edges of the canals and begins to inundate the city. But let's bring it back home for one last discussion on a big event that is occurring this season at FSU, the Flying High Circus.
Yes, that's right. The circus is coming back for Halloween. There are going to be zombies, witches, pumpkins, everything. It starts on Thursday the 17th at 8 p.m. and it will go on for a couple weeks. And so we will probably update you again over the next few days about that.
Yes, the Flying High is a magnificent show. If any of you freshmen or first-time students have never been, I highly recommend going. I went to the show in April and it was spectacular. I can't wait to see what they do with a Halloween theme this year.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to go myself in the next few days. All right, and we also have some extra flooding in Cambodia. It's a little bit like what we saw in Italy, but it's caused more due to rain. And it's, pretty heavy over there.
Yes, there is some severe weather to discuss. We also revisit the Great Plains where they are experiencing some strong winds and hail and possibly chances of a tornado. But back here in Tallahassee, we're going to see a lovely week to come. Highs in the mid to upper 80s, lows in the low 60s to 50s.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Yeah. And also watch us anytime at livestream.com/FSU Weather. From FSU Weather, I'm Daniel McFarland.
And I'm Shane Pendleton. Have a great evening, Tallahassee.